Hello everybody, welcome back to another video and a new tree in my collection that I want to start the journey of becoming a bonsai for basically today. It is a lemon cypress. It's a conifer. It is one of the varieties they say can survive indoors. I've had one like this before. It didn't survive indoors, but I thought I will give it another try because I think the problem back then was I had it in a too dry environment, let the soil dry out, and that's why it didn't survive indoor. So I will try to keep this indoor and I will keep you updated on how this fares. But the plan for today is actually repotting it. So we're gonna take it out of the soil that it came in and we're gonna put it in its first training pot and not really style it. Today we really focus on repotting it and bringing it through the cold season in its new pot. So let's loosen the soil or the pot here a little bit around the soil and let's look at what we're actually dealing with here root-wise. It has quite a nice root system. You see very fine roots on this tree, and I simply will start loosening the soil from down here as well as breaking off this top layer here that seems quite healthy. The soil itself I find quite fitting for the tree. I think it holds moisture quite well by the look of it, so it's quite fitting soil, I would say, because they do like to stay more on the moist side and really not dry out, as I painfully have learned myself with my last lemon cypress. I will try to loosen this without breaking too many of those roots, because that is always the case with trees like that, and that's something of course we want to avoid, to really break off the roots and then stressing the tree too much, which we will simply try to avoid today. But yes, some of the roots will definitely come off with it. That is unfortunately simply the case with trees like this when you repot them, because the root system is so fine. In the future, of course, you wouldn't take off all the soil and clean out the soil and then repot it. You would leave it on, especially if it's then in better fitting inorganic soil where you don't have to clean off all the soil and see really what's in here. But I, for example, see that there is also some sort of mesh in here, which unfortunately is often the case with trees that you buy commercially, because that's just the way they're grown in this little mesh containers with a little bit of soil, like as little plugs that then they move in bigger containers. And that can hinder the root growth, of course, especially the radial root growth. So in this case, it really does make sense to take out the soil, at least a little bit around here. I might leave actually some of this on and repot it then in inorganic soil. Over the time, most of the organic matter will wash out then anyway, just with watering all the time then. But I think we can still break this up a little bit and see what part of the soil we can still remove here. I might even bring in some chopsticks at one point to loosen it a bit, but right now actually working with the hands gives me a good idea on the strength of the roots, where I have to be a bit more careful when taking it off and where I can go in simply with my thumb to remove the soil in between the roots. Again, trying to break it up, but I think here we already come very much to the root ball in here, and we might really leave some of the soil on like this. To be honest, I think that's actually the best idea, to leave some of the soil on right now. When it washes out anyway, we can always refill them with more inorganic soil. However, I don't even think that will be necessary. What I do want to do is remove some of this lower growth down here. I will simply pinch it with my fingers and take it out, just to get a better look at the trunk line, just to make it a bit more visible already, giving us the view on the trunk line. But of course, not much yet to work there with. We will need to let this grow anyway a couple of years before it really turns into a nice looking bonsai with also an acceptable size trunk. For now, what I will do is put to the side, clean the table here a little bit so we can work further on this tree, and be right back then with that. So welcome back already with the pot that I will repot it in today. It is a little clay pot, so perfect for training, I would say. We remove the other pot out of the way so we have enough space to work, and we'll see if this would already fit in here. And it does actually. So we have already a bit of layer of inorganic soil in here, and I just go around now and fill out the rest with this inorganic soil mixture. always nice when I then repot it in inorganic soil and you just see the tree perk up after a couple of days. Especially with a lot of my tropical trees, that is the case. They really respond extremely well to the soil mixture. So I hope I will see the same with this tree. Because the first lemon cypress I had actually repotted in the soil that it came in, which was more of a bark mixture, so also actually not the right soil mixture, I would say, because it dried out so fast. And this way I simply was never on top of watering it, and unfortunately it simply dried out at one point. So definitely my fault for, first of all, repotting it in soil that wasn't really fitting, and then not caring for it enough to really see that it was drying out and not doing well in that soil. But hope to be doing better in this soil today, and that it will simply fare better also in this soil. For now, I think that is actually all we have to do with this tree today. As I said, I don't want to stress it too much. Also, probably one of the problems I had with my previous tree, I also started to wire that one then and cut back and prune. So that was just too much in one session to do to this tree, because of course it needs to gain its health back. Now it needs to focus on adjusting to the new soil, the new pot, also simply adjusting to the new environment it is in, because I only brought this to my house a couple of days ago. And after cold season and growth season starts, or a bit before growth season starts, we might start then to also look a bit on the foliage, what we can do, because of course we could go quite severely on wiring that, or we keep its natural growth pattern of growing upwards. So these do grow, as you can see, very much upwards, and work with this a little bit, just opening the trunk here a little bit still. But a lot of potential for this tree. Hope it will fare well now over cold season, and I will keep you updated on this tree definitely. So next time I work on it, or if I see a lot of change on this tree, I will keep you updated, give you a little update on how it's doing. And yes, hope you enjoyed this video today, the small repotting that we did. If you have any questions about the repotting or any tips on how to care for lemon cypress, especially when you keep it indoors, I will be very happy if you leave those in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. If you enjoy my channel, of course, feel free to subscribe to it. And hopefully I will see you in the next video then. Until then, take care and goodbye.